Come follow the brick wall. It's your girl Eva K, and I'm ready to eat. Hey, who ready to eat with me? Who ready to eat? Come bread with me, let's break bread. Come break bread with me, let's break bread. We about to eat this food and get fed. Come break bread with me. I'm your host, your girl Eva Kyle, and I am here with
William, indie author.
We're at the bottom today. Shout out to the bottom for letting us use this beautiful room. If y'all don't know, the bottom is on East Magnolia. It is an indie bookstore. Is that what you call it?
Indie bookstore, the black experience, black authors, black stories, black everything.
Black everything, black. Now look, we don't have food today, but we have a good cup of coffee. I have the coffee of the month, and it is so good. What kind of coffee did you get? Tea.
Yeah, tea. I got the peach. I got a blend actually. Peach of mine with the surreal. It's like a hibiscus. Yeah. So it's pretty good.
It's really good. So, Williams. That's the name. I love it. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself before we get into your book, The Fruit of Our Grief?
Yeah. So I'm 26 years old. I'm originally from Chicago.
Okay, the Chi, big Chi.
Yeah. So Chi-town. Also, I've usually do horror / supernatural type of genre. Sometimes I go into sci-fi and dark fantasy, but horror and supernatural is my main things. Also too, I like to do poetry. I've done poetry and spoken word in college as well, so I have experience with that. Also, what else do I want to mention? I could probably mention even my, the background of how I kind of started off with this.
Because I was going to ask you, how old were you when you came to Knoxville?
Oh, how old was I? Was I like 23 maybe? 23.
So you was in Chicago that whole time?
Yeah, most of it I was in Chicago, and then I kind of went back and forth from Chicago to Indiana.
So how was it growing up in Chicago? Like, what was life like in Chicago?
Well, my experience in Chicago, because I was in the Chicago Heights area, might be a little bit different compared to people in the city. Mainly, my experience was, I would hear things all the time and things like that, but I was more, let's say, trying to get out of that type of environment, while some people might feel like they're trapped in that environment. Yeah.
What is Chicago Heights? I'm from Tennessee. I don't know.
So Chicago Heights is one of the suburb areas of Chicago. Gotcha. So you got it's like you would say it's the south suburbs pretty much. Yeah. So
did you grow up with like mom, pops, sister, brother?
Yeah, I actually grew up. I have one mom, stepmom. I have a stepfather, and I have a dad. So I live with my mom, my stepdad, and then they have also they have my brother and my sister there. And on my dad's side, I have 4 brothers, no sisters at all.
Okay. So you said college. Which college did you go to?
Indiana State University.
Okay, how was Indiana State? Now, is that an HBCU?
No, it's not an HBCU. It's funny because it's a PWI, but I feel like towards the end of my college year, it started to become an HBCU.
Okay.
So, but it's just, it's funny because we started on kind of like making our own space in some of the parts, like where we would want certain events to happen or certain parties, but we couldn't have it, so we would actually create our own thing sometimes. We have our own DJ, we have somebody who, cooks and all this other stuff. We even had, it's funny because we even had people who would cut hair, and you go into people's dorm rooms and get your hair
make that community.
Yeah, it's pretty much a community we have.
I love that. So did you pledge or you frat?
No, I do have a couple of people that I know that are in the Divine Nine, they call it. But no, I
Zeke bite.
No, but actually it's funny because my stepmom, I didn't even know it until the end of my year that she's actually an AKA.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was your major?
My major was graphic design. You can tell from the book.
Oh, so you did your own book cover?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so how long have you been writing, and is this your first book?
Now, this is my first book that I have published. Now, I've written other stories before, but I never published it. But this is the first one I published, and this took me, I would say, roughly around 3 years, mainly because I kind of took some breaks in between as well. Yeah.
So let me ask you this: how long does it typically take an author to write a book?
Oh, it depends sometimes. Some people, they take 10 years, they take, 5 years. It just depends on what you're writing and, how in depth you're going into your story.
So tell us about The Fruit of Our Grief. That is a name. The Fruit of Our Grief.
Yes.
Wow.
So I'll just give you like a quick summary. So pretty much it's about this family, black family, who is going through a recent loss. And on top of this is bringing up unspoken trauma or unspoken things that they just haven't talked about in the family. And that's with a lot of our families, it's like that. Also too, on top of this, and this is the horror / supernatural part, where there's dark entities coming to attack them and kind of even tear them
like
apart
spirits.
more. Yeah, pretty much. And it's coming to tear them apart more than they already are. So, yeah.
Okay. So, what got you wanting to write these type of stories? Because is it horror?
Yeah, it's horror / supernatural.
Oh, and it's good. So, young adult, I don't know if they can see those words because the light. Do you think this young adult or like who is this geared towards?
This is more geared towards 18 and up.
18 and up. Okay. So the young adult.
Yeah, mainly because there is some topics in there. Like I said, there's things that unspoken things that people just don't want to talk about in the family. So it's those type of topics where it's kind of brought up in the story, and it's for some audience it might be a little bit too much, or it's a little bit too much. Like you wouldn't want your 6-year-old reading this.
Okay. So what got you into writing? Like where did that passion for creating and writing come from?
I think, and it's odd enough that most time people say, they're author or, something else like that. Even though I do have authors that I look up to or that I've got my inspiration from, I believe it started off with me just watching horror movies when I was younger. And it's funny because my mom had me in front of, 1 year old, I was watching Michael Myers. Yes. And I was watching all those. And, I was okay though, but I was watching all those type of scary movies and stuff, and I kind of wanted to create my own type of story, and also a story where, always, in the horror movies you'll see the black person dies first, or, something that excludes us from the equation. So I wanted to make a story that gives us more attention in there. Obviously, almost like with mine, it's like all black cast.
Okay, I love that.
And yeah, pretty much just making sure that we're included into the stories, and that it's not something that we look down upon when it comes to horror, because a lot of black people, at least in my experience, don't really like horror like that, maybe because of different things like what's that movie called? I think it's called Rise of the Nation.
I ain't never seen that one.
Yeah, it's more like, what was it like? I don't know what year it was, but it was one of those black and white movies, and pretty much it was demonizing black men or the slaves in those times, and pretty much getting a bad feel on us, or a bad vibe on us. So just stuff like that kind of took black people away from that experience or that type of genre, because we didn't feel like we were included into there.
Okay, I can see that, but for me, like I can watch scary movies like It or Chucky. I cannot do like the Poltergeist or the Exorcist. I don't do spirits. Like spirits, just growing up in the church, that's the devil. That's devilment. So that kind of stuff scared me. Deliverance was pushing it. The movie Deliverance.
Yeah, I watched that myself.
It was good, but when she started speaking in tongues, I was just like, whoa, let me cover myself,
Yeah. And I think, if I remember correctly, somebody was saying it was supposed to be like a Christian movie, but it wasn't a Christian movie.
I know it's based on true events or real
Yeah.
events, you know, of a family in Indiana. So let me ask you this. We're going to get back to the book, but I want to ask about you, like personally about you, because you're in the creator space. How do you feel being a black creator? Do you think black creators get the attention that they need? The backing? Like, what do you think?
I think for me, and certainly in this genre, as being in the horror genre,
Mm-hmm.
most of the time when you talk to people and you say, "Oh, I'm doing horror writing," and they're like Jordan Peele, and that's the only thing that they say. I mean, no,
He's
Jordan
like
Peele
one of the
does his
only black
thing.
people I can think of.
Yeah, but that's the thing where it's like we only have this one,
Mhm.
idea of this is a black creator in this genre,
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I would like for us to kind of open our minds to different type of authors as well, because there's a couple other black authors and film writers who have actually done movies, but like you said, we haven't really had our acknowledgement for it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So with your book, like how can people purchase it? Where do they get to come? Are you gonna do like a book signing? Like, how do people get to know William Williams?
So you can buy this book on Amazon,
Mhm.
or if you're somewhere here in Knoxville, you can. I have books in my car. You can find me and I'll
Okay.
sell it out.
Off the trunk.
Yeah. But you can buy it on Amazon. And it's $15. Currently, right now, I'm waiting for these other bookstores to actually accept it and put it into their shelves.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll let people know on my social media.
Mm-hmm. And are you doing a book signing?
Yes, I'm actually doing a book signing on October 11th at the Magnolia Cafe.
I love that for you. I love Magnolia Cafe. First of all, best chicken and food, everything. So, now when I met with you, can y'all believe he wants me to do audition to do an audio version of this book? And let me tell you, I read out loud to kids, baby. By the third page, I was out of breath. But the synopsis that I read of this book, amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on the actual full cover copy of this book. So, what else do you want people to know about William?
Anything else I want them to know? Pretty much said that much. The only thing I would say is, like you mentioned with reading the book, I also want to do an audio book for this story, and not just somebody reading it. I want like a whole experience with sound effects and just a whole movie theater type of feel, but audio.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So I am looking for voice actors and people who can do stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if anytime you want to kind of just email me, you can email me at kingswill WIL write10 at yahoo.com.
Okay. And I'll put it in the description
Yeah.
as well so people can find you. So, William,
Mm-hmm.
what is the inspiration behind The Fruit of Our Greed?
Okay. Now, have you ever heard of this story called Beer Rabbit and the Tar Baby?
I know Tar Baby.
Okay.
I don't know the fox.
So pretty much in the story, the fox Tar Baby to trick the rabbit, and the rabbit saw that thought it was a baby, went into it, and got himself trapped into it. However, the rabbit was able to get himself out of there, and the fox ended up getting trapped in his own trap. So in the story, I kind of implemented some of that into there. Certainly, you'll see a correlation of, or repetition of a fox constantly in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Also too, and you can tell this from the name, the song "Strange Fruit" by Billie Holiday.
Love it.
That's in there. I figured it was the perfect inspiration for that, mainly because it talks about the South and Mississippi, in general.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the setting of the book is in Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But besides that, that's pretty much the inspiration. And also too, sometimes I get my inspirations from certain dreams I might have, So this kind of came from something like that, and I was like, let me write this down and make something out of it. So
So it's based in Mississippi, right? And we got the strange fruit, so you use it a lot of parallel from what like happened to black people, like slavery and Jim Crow and all of those things. Is it biblical at all? Like, do you use a lot of biblical references? Because most of the time, when I think of the Black South, I think of the Bible Belt.
yeah. So I would say there is a lot of biblical references in there. Mainly, it's funny because in my last book signing, somebody was reading through it and they was like, "Oh, this is very biblical," or like the reading through it is almost like reading through like the not almost like the Bible, but it kind of has that you can tell it's a little bit inspiration from there. Mainly, some of the inspiration from there comes from either some of the struggles that you see in the Bible that some characters go through, or some of the people go through, and also what God says about how to handle certain situations and the consequences of certain actions that people do. Yeah.
I got you. So let me ask you this. With your books, are there always like a common theme in your books? Like, would this be like a part two? Or do you just write a book and then you go to a whole different type of genre, a whole different type of book?
Now for this one, I was planning on just making it its own book.
Okay.
Some books I might just make sequels to it. If I would make a sequel, it would be more of a prequel to it than anything else. But besides that, I think I'm just leave this book as it is. But I am the new book. At least it's a collection of books that I'm doing right at the moment. Is flash fiction, which is like really really short stories, almost like 800 words. And this book is I'm trying to think how many words. I'm estimating on the top of my head, maybe around 20,000.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so they're really short, and they're right now I'm putting them all together, and they're kind of like making their own story at the moment. Yeah.
How much time do you dedicate to writing?
With this, at least when I was doing this, it was every day.
Every day.
And that's how I was able to get it finished and keep myself motivated. Because if I didn't do that, then it wouldn't have been finished or done.
All right. So, do you have a goal in mind for how many books you want to have written?
I don't think I have a goal. I think I just have not how many books, but the quality of books that I want written. Like books, what I would say is quality is better than quantity. And you'll see that from, like how I mentioned flash fiction earlier, where it doesn't matter how many words, it's more of, picking the right words, because it's really important. You can't have anything that is unnecessary. So when it comes to the books, I want books that have importance or have some type of value to it compared to just, another book to read. Either it can empower somebody or somebody who is going through grief and going through these struggles, that they can actually learn from the character's experience.
And last question, what legacy do you want to leave behind?
Okay. Well, my legacy is pretty much that, even though you feel like you can't do it, you can still thrive to do it. Like, work hard at it. Because I think in a lot of times, certainly as an indie author, a black indie author, it's hard to get your name out there and get people to find value in what type of work you do. And that can even go from visual arts, like painting or dancing, just those arts like that, where most of the time how people blow up is because somebody knows somebody. And
that viral moment.
Yeah. So it just something like that where I can get people to like you can do it. You know,
Mhm.
you can, if you work hard enough, you can get yourself up there. You have to be persistent about it as well.
Got you. And for my older people, will you explain what indie means?
So indie means independent.
Okay,
So,
independent.
yeah, so everything like publishing, even like I even did my book cover, that was independent by myself. And it's almost like a one-man team, really, or one woman, you know, if you're writing. And for any of the, you know, LGBTQ, I don't know what's the term, non-binary.
Yeah. One person team.
Yeah.
So, with you being indie, do you have hopes or dreams of getting picked up? I don't know how it works for authors. Like, do you get picked up by a team? Do you get signed with?
So for this, it's mainly for me. It's just been when it comes to the copyright stuff. Amazon kind of already does it for you for the copyright once you put it out there.
Gotcha.
However, I could you could put extra protection on your book just in case you do go through some law, you know, some lawsuits or something like that, or you know, if somebody's claiming that this is, you know, their book. You can also put, you know, extra protection. Yeah, it's when it comes to stuff like this, a lot of money goes into it, and mainly because it's just to make sure that it gets published, and you know, make sure that your work stays as your work. So I know a lot of people think that writing it is the hard part, but writing it is, for me at least, has been the easy part of it, because I can just write and, you know, just do it every day. But then it gets to the part where you actually get it out into the public, and that's when it comes to its own issues and problems, which, you know, if you know what to do, or you know, you can get through it pretty easily. However, you know, as this being my first book, I'm still, you know, learning things. So yeah, I've been just getting guidance from different type of people as I'm going.
Well, I love that for you. Okay, so the fruits of our grief. What's next for the fruit of our grief? Like, what do you see? Where do you see this going? Like, what all do you envision for your book?
Hopefully I want to envision for it is, you know, for it to be one of the bestsellers, and also two, for it to finally get, you know, recognized, and somebody goes up to me and like, oh, we want to make this a movie. Let's do that. And I also want to make sure that I'm in charge of directing some of the stuff as well. At least, you know, part of the directing process.
You have creative control for sure.
Yeah. So I know what's being put in and, you know, put out. And then, you know, like I said, the audiobook, but with this book, that's it. But like with my career in total, mainly just to create books that can empower people, you know, face your fears, pretty much. When I think of horror, that's what I think of, mainly facing your fears and these monsters, mainly monsters that are just maybe negative emotions you could think of, or
that's a good way of thinking of the monsters.
Yeah, just things that you don't want to face, and turning them into a physical being so it's more easy to digest it. Yeah.
I love that. What was the inspiration behind the graphics of the book?
So pretty much with the graphics, if you kind of see the hand and there's the trees going up. Now the trees, you know, it deals with the book a little bit, and you know how the fruit of our, you know, the fruit part. And
strange fruit.
Yeah, I can get into that a little bit more. But pretty much it's almost like you're reaching out for some type of light or some type of hope, which the characters are kind of doing in the story, or at least they're trying to. But you know, how the tree is kind of like twisted and everything, their process of doing that, it's a little rough. But yeah, that's pretty much the symbolism with it. And I had a couple of, while I was designing the cover, I had a couple of ideas, and I had people look over it, and I can say I'm a bit of a perfectionist sometimes. But I finally got it done, and I'm actually happy with the results. But yeah, it was not a long process, but you know, a thought out process when making the cover.
Now, do you do writing and creating full time, or do you work? Like, what is your life like? What is the life of William like?
Yeah, so currently right now I'm actually working downtown as one of the ambassadors. Pretty much we do hospitality, we help people, we greet people. We also work with the unhoused as well. And I think in my experience with this, and this is why I feel like people should do different type of jobs anyway, and certainly or have different type of experiences, and certainly as a writer, because I have so many book ideas just working with the public.
Just meeting these random people?
Yes. I have so many ideas. I have so many characters that I can make with this. Obviously I'm not going to try to take somebody's whole personality and make it a character, but I can take, whatever little things that I see and, make a character or make some type of concept out of it. And that's how I come up with book ideas sometimes as well.
I love that.
And then also with this, the creative writing. Now, right now, it's just kind of like a second job at the moment. However, I plan on making it full time once I can get more of a revenue coming from it. But for right now, I am ambassador by day and horror writer by night.
So is it expensive to create a book, or are you self-published?
Self-published. Now it's expensive. It's expensive to go either way. Now, if you have certain connections, it could be better for you. So with publishing, it can go up to, because even with the editor, it can be like $1,000.
Oh, because you gotta have somebody to proofread it. Okay.
Yeah, and then the publishing process is another. How much, I don't know the exact number of of it, but because I published it myself, but I know it's pretty expensive just to do that. And then even I'm glad that I even have experience with graphic design, because even the cover would have costed a little bit more, maybe around like $500, maybe even more than that. But yeah, so I know with my book, the cost of it was probably around maybe $400, maybe around that. With the editing process for me, because half it was kind of helped edit it, and then the other part I kind of just had to kind of proofread or have other people look at it for me. Yeah, it wasn't cheap though. It wasn't cheap.
So you you do it all on your own, or do you try to like crowdfund to get like people in your community to help you publish it, or do you just like, I'm gonna set money aside for my checks to do this thing because I believe in my baby?
Right now, it was more of just setting checks to actually help it out. Even when the process of coming to the book signings and everything, I'm budgeting how much I need to spend for it, and making sure that the event that I go to actually pays for itself instead of me just overpaying.
Making that sacrifice.
And I also appreciate, going through this process, because now I've learned how to pretty much, what I need to do to actually, the next time I have my next book, I know what to do, and what I should, what I need to do. I probably need to have more people, see if I can get like a grant or something like that, or some way to build up money through the community that way.
I love that. Definitely, you lean on your community. Tap into like places like the bottom that can offer just a space, even a safe space for people to proofread your book for you, and just create that sense of community. What else would you like to talk about?
Actually, you want to talk about some of the characters? At least let's sneak peek.
Yeah. Well, okay. See, I don't know how deep. You're an artist and you're sensitive about your ish, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how deep you want to go into your book, but I'm willing to go as deep as you want to go.
Okay. I'm gonna be a little surface level with the characters. I don't want to give too much or like too much background. Mainly, okay, I'll name a character and then you can ask me what you kind of want to know or anything special. So let's go with the first character you kind of get introduced to is Ethan and Kendra. Is there anything specific?
Are they brother sister? Are they dating? What are their relationship?
Okay, so it's actually mother and son.
Mother and son.
All I would say for them is that their relationship is a little strained at the moment, and mainly because like I said, the recent death, and it caused a lot of things to start to bubble up. So for them, you know, this person's death has caused them to kind of not see eye to eye with certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So thinking about like famous people right now, right? If you could get somebody to play Kendra and Ethan,
Mm-hmm.
is that their names?
Yes.
Who would you pick? So we can have that visual.
I'm trying to think. I'm not really good with actors or actresses' names.
Let's see. Well, I'm looking at the wall of all the like powerful women. Like we got Rosa, we got Nina Simone, we got Lauryn Hill on the wall here. Have you seen the movie Woman King?
Mm-hmm.
So who from Woman King would you choose to play the mother? Like Viola Davis.
Not Viola Davis because her personality wouldn't match Kendra's.
What's Kendra's personality like?
Her personality is more of like, I would say, a little bit overbearing sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
She could be a bit nosy as well.
So more like a Monique.
Kind of, but not strong personality like Monique.
Okay.
So, she has, I would say she has a unique type of personality, but she's somebody that you can get along with, but you know you can only handle her for a little bit before you get tired of her.
Okay, I got you. Who else in the book you want to talk about?
Let's see, because I can name the characters too. We have Charlene.
Who's that?
Now, Charlene is the grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Alana, or they call her Alana. We have David, Ezekiel. I'm trying to remember the characters now in my head. There's so many.
They follow one big family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's in total. There's it should be there's 8 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have the maid who's like a character in there as well. Her name is Ayo.
So they're rich black people.
Yes.
Okay, they are fluent. So let me say.
Yeah. So I didn't want to do the whole typical, them in the ghetto or
the struggle.
Yeah, like that. And if it is a struggle, it's a struggle that most people go through. Everybody goes through family issues.
Mm-hmm.
Just nothing to like the stereotypical stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. I love that for you. Okay, let's switch gears. Because we're going to have to save some stuff. I want y'all to come out to his book signing. Talk to William yourself. Get to know him. Purchase his books. Let's support this brother. Okay? We're going to end right here. We'll come back for a part 2. Make sure y'all go check him out. October
11th at 5 p.m.
At 5 p.m. At the Magnolia Cafe right here in East Knoxville. I love y'all. Thank you to my sponsors. Thank you to the bottom. Thank you to William. Peace.